Canabanas, Puerto Rico. The win was August through December of 1995, right? So now the story starts out like basically during August and December of 1995, there was confirmed over 150 farm animals, mostly goats. So the name Chupacabra means bloodsucker or goat sucker, Steve?
It's goat sucker.
Goat sucker, right? If this was not a PG-13 show, my favorite Spanish and insult has the word chupa in it. Or my famous, but I won't say that on here, but DM me and I'll let you know. Chupa means to suck, and cabra means goat. So Chupacabra is the goat sucker. So over 150 farm animals were found dead. There were some chickens in there I saw as well, some rabbits.
I saw some pigs and stuff like that too, but mostly goat.
Yeah, but mostly goats were in there. And they were found, again, I thought this was, strange. The date line of this I found was strange, but also 150 is a lot over basically what is that, Steve? A 4-month period?
A few months, yeah.
Something like that, right? 4 or 5 month period. I thought it was strange. And also I thought it was strange too that every one of these animals were found drained of blood. And I thought that was okay. So that adds something to it, right? And they both had round puncture wounds reminiscent of, I guess for lack of a better word, like vampire. Something held these animals down and literally sucked the blood out of them. And so there were also, I found conflicting reports when I was doing mine, Steve. There were no signs of a blood trail, no sign of
I heard that too.
Predators, and often no sign of struggle, right?
Yeah, I saw that too. It was just like basically, they were just completely drained, not a drop left, and that was it.
Yeah, they were just completely, drained out, no blood on them. I mean, there were no blood right in them. And I will say too on this show, Enigmites, even though I did give you a little, 60-second rant on why I think chupacabras are not even close to being one of my favorite cryptids, even though a lot of people are into the chupacabra phenomenon. At a minimum on this show, we have a baseline, a hard deck where we say something happened, right? We'll get into it as we go, what caused that, but something happened. Something was in 1995 draining the blood out of 150 of these animals. And this place, hit me again, Steve. What is it? Canabanas?
Canabanas. Yep.
Yeah, it's a rural area, right? So now they found a few of these. I didn't give me how many that seemed to be partially mutilated. However, that was not close to being the norm of how they were found. And that could be any type of predator shows up afterward as well to go in there to do it. Dogs mostly or something like that. So now during that time frame, these in Puerto Rico, they don't have counties. They have municipalities or whatever. Basically, it's just like a county. The next rural area over was Cagas, Steve, Naguabu. I'm sure that's not how you pronounce that.
No, I didn't catch this one, so I'm not sure.
Morovis.
I'm sure you're close.
Right? So the surrounding 3 counties also were reporting these type of incidents, right? So now we also on this show, I like to find eyewitness reports, and I really like to find sheriff reports when available. However, I was not able to find a Policia Reporta from the Federales down there, Steve. Were you able to find that?
No, nothing specific. Just not rumors. What's the word? But just like stories that were passed down. Right. Secondhand reports. Nothing actually official or.
That's what I got. That's what I got too. There wasn't. I found no Officer Hernandez showed up and did an investigation. I couldn't find, there wasn't, I couldn't trace that back anywhere. So anyways, however, there were several eyewitnesses reported seeing these things. And I just keyed on to the first one that I could find. It was by a female named Madeleine Talanito, right? And she is a resident of Canabanas and claimed to she was doing the dishes. So right away, I got to say, good woman. I'm just saying, we got to give credit where credit's due, right? She was in the kitchen doing some dishes, right? Right now, people just throw the remotes at the thing there. So she was in the kitchen doing the dishes.
Oh my God.
It was late in the evening. She's around 11 o'clock. And she reported seeing a bipedal creature, 3 to 4 feet tall, glowing red eyes, scaly, greenish gray skin, right? She described it having spines or quills that ran down its back, thin limbs, clawed fingers, and she said it was leaping across her yard. And she said it also, under observation, that she said at times it appeared like it could glide. I'm like, okay. So this is her verbatim description is what she was getting to. And she says it was terrorizing her chickens. And she says that's how she could see it. She was too scared to go outside and make it stop. But she was like, basically was, eating her chickens. And her story was very credible because she actually ended up going on to a Puerto Rican radio station called Not Uno. Notiuno. How would you pronounce that, Steve?
Notiuno.
Uno. Yeah. Not even.
Yeah, no, do you know? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And a journalist named Jorge Martin interviewed her, and he was the one that actually went around and started compiling the eyewitnesses' reports. So the rest of the information that I got or that I compiled was from Jorge Martin, right? So, Steve, have you got anything to back that up or counter or add to that as well?
I don't have, not a specific one, but I do want to, like you were just saying, that from what I was seeing, the general description of these things was, yes, they had a grayish skin, glowing eyes, almost like fangs. And what was interesting when you said that she said it almost sounded like it was gliding. I saw that too, where people saying it almost it almost floated when it moved.
Yeah.
So that seems to be, which I've heard of the Chupacabra. I'd never heard of that. That was a specific detail that I was surprised by. I didn't know it had that kind of almost floating effect to it.
Yeah, me neither. I never heard of that before, right? And at the end, when we get to the end on my notes, I'm going to tell you what I thought until I actually read this. I can tell you at the end, I'm going to tell you what I thought the Chupacabra used to be, right? But I was like, I could have been like, that was what that was, right? So now, so another thing too. So Jorge Martin was a legitimate journalist. He compiled a lot more notes, and I'm going to get into some of his notes as well. And there was another check mark in here that made me think that this could possibly be something legitimate, right?
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.